Alright, this video is going to be specific to the 2012 Republican Senate District Conventions that are going on right now as of last weekend, April 14th, and this coming weekend, April 21st, I believe. Not too long ago, I was ignorant to this mathematical process of conventions, and I did a lot of research, and here's what I came up with. To begin with, I put together a spreadsheet that I used in my senatorial district convention, and it helped me to tabulate the voting strength of each vote so that I could see and make sure that the vote was being counted correctly. There's a difference between the number of yeas and nays versus the strength of those yeas and nays, and the spreadsheet that I made helps you break that down. What you're looking at here is a PDF of my county's breakdown as to each precinct and how many votes were cast for Rick Perry in the 2010 gubernatorial race. This is a very key piece of information that's going to be needed for the spreadsheet, and so you really need to understand what this is and how it works. In this example, here you can see that, of course, the county is an oasis. And here in Precinct 1, Rick Perry got 191 votes. And again, this is for the gubernatorial race in 2010. In Precinct 2, he received 414 votes. Okay, those numbers are important because we're going to look at a bracket system in order to see how many delegates, or actually how many votes, each individual precinct has. So here are my calculations here written on the side, and those will come into play here in a second. Looking at the spreadsheet I made, let's bring these two here on the same frame. Okay. The reason these numbers are important is because in the calculation, you're going to be taking how many votes your precinct has and dividing it by yeas and nays to calculate your voter strength. So in this example, Precinct 1, Rick Perry got 191 votes total. And we need to know how many delegates or how many votes our precinct has based on those 191 votes. So we're going to come down here to the delegate calculation sheet, and we're going to look through these brackets for 191, and 188 to 212 covers that. Here you can see these are votes for Rick Perry in your precinct for the 2010 gubernatorial race. And Precinct 1 had 191 votes, which would give their precinct 8 votes total for each issue during their senatorial district convention. So once again, we're going to bring back up our sheet here, and this sheet is going to be obtainable from the county clerk's office. It's very important that this information here is accurate, because all the calculations will be based off of that information. So the most accurate place to get that from is your county clerk's office, because of the redistricting issues that we've gone through here in Texas. Things that you find on the internet or at Texas Ethics Commission or wherever you're looking for that information, it might not be 100% current. So getting this sheet from your county party leadership and or the county clerk's office is going to be the best bet. Again, these numbers have to be accurate to get an accurate tally of the vote. Okay, so we're going to go back to our spreadsheet here. And here you can see that because of the 191 votes, that gave this precinct 8 votes. So I did the math, looked at the sheet, and now I come back here, and the strength of this precinct is going to be 8 votes. Bring back up this sheet. Because of 414 votes that Perry got in 2010, that gives Precinct 2 17 votes in their convention. So we're going to go and put 17 votes here. Precinct 3 had 838 votes, which gives that precinct 34 votes. So we come here and put those 34 in precinct 3. Okay, again, this information has to be correct in order for this whole spreadsheet to be right. So in this scenario, there's a difference. There's absolutely a difference between the number of votes cast and the voting strength that those numbers represent. This sheet covers 2 different ways a vote can be given, but most often the precinct chair will stand, or actually I should say the convention chair will ask each individual precinct chair to calculate how many yeas, how many nays, and report those numbers. That's probably going to be the most common method of reporting a vote. So in this example, say we come up, this is called vote 1. It could be a vote for anything. It could be a vote for a main motion. It could be a vote for an amendment. It could be a vote for a secondary motion. It could be anything. We're just going to generically call it vote 1. If you want to, up here, you can put specifically what the vote is. Okay, so now we know that in this one particular vote, which could be a vote for anything, Precinct 1 has a total voting strength of 8 votes in the convention. So let's say that they have an issue and the convention chairman asked each individual precinct chair to calculate the total number of yeas and nays in their precinct. And let's say in this scenario, Precinct 1 comes back and says that there were 5 yeas, or actually let's say 3 yeas and 5 nays. In this scenario here, you can see that because there were 3 and 5, we had a total of 8 people present. And going on strength, there was 3 yeas and 5 nays. The reason for this is because there was 8 votes and there was 8 people voting. Now what happens in a scenario when you have, let's look at Precinct 2. What happens when you have 17 votes and only 1 person's there, which is a very real possibility? And let's say because there's only 1 person there, there's going to be 0 votes for nay. Okay, if you were listening for the number of votes here, and you heard the roll call, and you heard 4 yeas and 5 nays, you would automatically, through logic, think that the nays won the vote. When in reality, if you look over here, because of the strength of the precinct, the yeas absolutely won it hands down. And here's why. In Precinct 2, 1 person cast 17 votes. So if you look at the strength of this, the voting strength of the yeas were 20 combined, and the voting strength of the nays were 5. So there is absolutely a difference between the number of yeas and nays and the strength they represent. And we can show this even further. What happens when you have Precinct 3 has 34 votes and 50 people show up? Let's say 10 of them vote yay and 40 of them vote nay. Here this confirms that we did have 50 people voting. Now, because there's more delegates present than votes available, we start dividing 34 by the number of people there. And here you can see that out of 50 people with 34 votes total for their precinct, the yeas got 6.8, a voting strength of 6.8, and the nays got a voting strength of 27.2. Now, if you're just looking at this and you wanted to see what is the total, you could scroll down, and by strength, which your convention is going to go by the voting strength, not the numbers, you can see here that the nays had a voting strength of 32 and the yeas had a voting strength of 26.8. So in this situation, the nays would have it. But again, like I said previously, it's very possible for one side or the other to have more numbers in the vote, yet lose the voting strength. So very quickly, it's very important to get these numbers here from your county clerk or from your county party leadership, if they'll give it to you. Hopefully they will. And then plug those numbers into these blanks. These were already done in my situation because I had it set up already for a county convention that passed this past weekend. So once you get all of these numbers set up here in the strength column, everything else should be 0. These will be deleted out. And in my county, there are 126 precincts. If you want to edit this to add more precincts or take precincts away, you probably got a friend that can help you with Excel spreadsheet. I'm definitely no expert, and I put this together in about 6 hours. So have a friend to help you edit it if you need help editing it. Okay, so once you get your strength down, like I say, the most important variable here, then you get it for however many precincts you have, then you can copy the page, and we're going to move it to end. And for those of you who are well versed in Excel spreadsheet, you might be laughing at the way I'm doing this, because there probably are shorter ways, but this is how I know how to do it. We're going to go to vote 1, create a copy, okay, and rename it vote 2. And then we're going to move this to the end. Just say move to the end. Okay, so you want to have about 30 votes just to make sure you have everything covered. I mean, because if there's a call for division for every vote, for every main motion, for every amendment, for every secondary motion, then you'll find that you start using a lot of these votes. And in my convention, I only used 4. It's very possible with a lot more people present and a lot closer votes, you might need a bunch of these. I downloaded this and ran it from my iPad, and it worked flawlessly. The only thing that I had trouble with was not every precinct in our convention was present. So you got to make sure you pay special attention to, say, if precinct 2 isn't present, your county chair is going to skip it because he or she knows that there's nobody there to vote, so they're not even going to call for that precinct. So you got to make sure that you skip over precinct 2 and start at 3, and you skip any other precincts that might not have a delegation present. So get your information there, get it all typed in a one sheet, and then duplicate it by at least 30. And again, you use your delegate calculation sheet to see how many votes your individual precinct has. Now, a quick note on this, you'll notice that from 1213 to 1237 is 24. So if you were going to come down and add another bracket, because say you had more than 1,237 votes in your precinct for Rick Perry in 2012 as governor, then you would come down to the next line, and you would start at 1238, and you would add 24 to that, which would be 1262. And if you notice, every four lines repeats. Here's 1138 to 1162, and here it is again. 1163 to 1187, 1063 to 1087, and so on. So these tables repeat every 4, and of course, you would come down here and say that this particular number of votes gets 50 votes. Okay, so that's the how this spreadsheet works. Like I say again, if you need it edited, ask a friend to help you because I don't know, and or I probably will not be available to respond. So good luck with your convention. I encourage everybody to voice their opinion, but do so respectfully, and more importantly, do so by the rules. Because no matter what your disagreement is within your party, you've got to realize that a vote for a president is once every 4 years, and you've got to work with these people who are in your convention throughout your stay in that county or in that state. So make sure that you have civil discourse and keep it respectful, and do so by the rules. And if you win that way, you'll feel a lot better about yourself. Good luck with your convention.